If you love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like SimRigs and TrackRacer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, Everything Simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us, and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family, and let's race towards the future.
You went, you served, and forged the relationships that only being baptized in the fire of combat can develop. At FallInVeteran.com, we understand the unique bond that veterans share. That's why we've created a platform where you can connect, share experiences, and build lifelong friendships with fellow veterans. Signing up is easy. Simply visit www.fall-in-veteran.com and create your profile. Customize it to reflect your military service, interests, and hobbies. FallInVeteran.com is more than just an online community. It's a support network where you can find resources, advice, and encouragement from those who understand what you've been through. Whether you're looking for camaraderie, mentorship, or simply a place to share your stories, FallInVeteran.com has it all. Join thousands of veterans who have already found their tribe and start connecting today. FallInVeteran.com. Come join us and experience the power of community. Sign up now at www.fall-in-veteran.com.
Good evening and welcome to round 6 of the 2024 Everything Simulated GT3 Championship, brought to you by Aussie Outlaws and associated sponsors such as, where are we? We've got Lucas Oil Products, Everything Simulated, Aerial Auto Art, Outlaw Slot Cars, and Mountain Custom Design, and making it possible for tonight. And we are in New York State in the United States, in the town of Dix at Watkins Glen International. And the layout we're using is the boot with no bus stop. So the boys will be going flat out up the back straight. Watkins Glen is the spiritual home of road racing in the USA, and racing's been held here since the 1940s on public roads. The course didn't actually open up as a permanent race course until 1956. And obviously it's gone through a facelift or two and some work over the years. On the buttons tonight is Kobe Jordan, and I'm here in the booth all on my lonesome, so I get to eat all the chips and pretzels and don't have to share them with anybody. The track layout tonight is 5.435 kilometres or 3.377 miles. There are 11 turns on this layout, and it's a split round. So we've got sprints of 20 minutes for the first race, 30 minutes for the second. The first race, they will start as per the qualifying, which will get underway very shortly. The second race, the 30-minute, is a full field inversion, so a full reverse grid for the second race of 30 minutes. The boys actually have 2 sets of tyres, and the fuel tanks are full at 100%. We'll go over the points for the championship shortly, but just taking a look at what's going on there. And the Pro Series, Stephen Banks continues to lead from Andrew Dyson on Tom Williams, Robbie Bradbury, Blake Fitz, Ryan Jones, Brad Fenley, Jackson Pringle, Chris Ireland, and Scott Barton is rounding out the top 10 in the Pro class. We'll go to the amateur one in just a moment, where you can see that Jason Martin is leading in the AM series with Peter Pavlik, Josh Mickelmore, James Lawrence, Brad Cooper, Scott Lefevre, Phil Bissett, Luke Georgeson in 8th, Tristan Koch 9th, and Stephen Williams rounds out the top 10 for the AM class. So those guys will all be hoping for a good show tonight to pick up a few more points to make things happen for them. Because I'm on my own tonight, I'm going to have to try and be on the ball and keep thinking of things to say. I can't throw to my co-commentator, but that's okay. We'll get through this. We are in qualifying at the moment. It's a 15-minute session, and we've got 14 minutes on the clock as we take a look at the list of guys out on track at the moment, but no times have actually been recorded as yet. And we've got, that's one of the Valve eSports cars, 976, which is Brett Douglas for Valve eSports in the Audi, I believe. He's riding that rev limiter pretty hard down there. And Brett's in the pro class, so he's hoping to pick up some points and advance himself up the championship ladder. And that one looks like Dave Douglas. It is, number 10. And Dave's in the AM class. And he generally puts in a pretty good showing, but he's been a little bit unlucky with his finishes the last couple of rounds. So that sort of hurt him points-wise. Watkins Glen, very fast track, and it will suit these cars as they come around into the final turn there, back down on the front straight past the pits. And still waiting for some times to start rolling in. A lot of these guys are on their out lap. They're just starting their time laps now. And just a little bit of an explanation of the two classes for those that don't know. The Pro class is at least a B licence and an SR of I think it's supposed to be an IR of 2000 and above. And the AM class is a B licence with an IR of 1999 and below. So above 2000 I rating puts you in the Pro class, and below puts you in the AM class, and B class license is actually the minimum. The championship's actually held over 15 rounds, and they are every second week on a Wednesday night Australian. As we continue to take a look at the guys trying to get that best time possible, they want to start as far towards the front as possible, but keeping in mind that the second race is a full reverse grid. So where they finish will be reversed. So the winner will start last place will start in first. And we've got some time starting to roll in now, as you can see on the screen. Brad Cooper, his last lap was a 1:43.4. Ryan Jones on a 1:43.6. Tom Williams on a 1:43.9. Nick Bottrell on a 1:44.0. And they've just swapped around. Edward Foster's pulled out a 1:43.9, and that's bumped Glaspool back to sixth place outside the top five. Worley in 1:44 as a new driver to the series this week. Dave Douglas just been bumped back to ninth there with a 1:44.3 because, they're still swapping places as the guys come across the lines. They're improving those times, and we will continue to probably see them improve over the next 10 minutes or so. As they come down into the boot area of the track. And it's called the boot because of the shape. And it is actually shaped like a boot. And it's just an additional part of the track as they make their way through the right-hander and up the back. It can be quite quick through there. Then they've got a right-hander at the end of this, which they do need to back right off for. And then they will have a left-hander up the top. They run wide to the left there over that ripple strip. And then they've got the left-hander there, which they'll try and pull it in nice and tight, let it run wide out over that little bit extra bitumen there, and try not to hit that ripple strip because it can get a little bit loose through there. Through the left-hander here as they run wide to the right of the track, then back to the left as they come in through the final turn and down the front straight past the pits.
Oh.
So looking at the times up top, Brad Cooper still seems to be holding that top spot there. And somebody just pulling off to the left there. They've had enough for the moment. They'll probably quick back to the pits, do a bit of tweaking, and then head back out again. One of the PER cars there, heading up onto the back straight section. And normally there would be a bus stop just up here where you see there's that little extra road off to the right-hand side. It's what we call a bus stop, and they would actually go in and out of there and back onto this straight section. We are running without the bus stop tonight, so the boys actually get a chance to go flat out up that back straight, but they've also got to bring it back to a manageable speed to come through this complex at the back of track. Just repeat that. Ah, yes. Just looking at the number 12 car there at the moment. It's one of the Porsches with some big teeth on the front. That's somebody's gone to a bit of trouble on that one. Number 12 is James Lawrence. James is in the AM class with an I rating of 1357. And just looking to see him on the list, he's not actually sitting on the list in the top 20 there at the moment. He's just outside the top 20 somewhere. So apparently he hasn't actually recorded a time. So he said, oh, there he is. He's just sitting without a time back in around about 25th, 26th. Yeah, he's he quite possibly had an off track or even may have tried to cut, well, not intentionally, but could have actually cut one of the turns. The track limits here can be fairly tight at Watkins Glen. And Brad Fenley in the VV machine. And number 59 Ferrari, he'll be all over the place tonight. He stands out quite obviously because of that livery that he's running. I expect Brad to be in the running for, I believe he's actually in the AM class. I'm just checking. But he hasn't put a time in yet, I don't think. No, Brad Fenley's in the P class. He's actually in the Pro class with the 59 Ferrari. And he's got a time now, apparently. No, he hasn't. All right. This will be a timed lap, though, I imagine. It was his out lap that we were looking at before. As he comes up into the back section of the track. And he'll run wide out over there and come around into the final turn. That probably will have cost him. He didn't need to go that wide. And I think he gave the fence a little bit of a rub there. Crosses the line. And no time recorded, I believe. Yep. So he's obviously gotten an off-track running so wide out of turn 10. And then coming out of turn 11, he gave the fence a bit of a rub. So his lap's been negated. So we'll have to wait for Brad Fenley to come back around again. And hopefully it's a clean lap and he can record a time. And looking at the car behind him, I think that was Edward Foster in the bright green BMW. As we take a look at one of the DPR cars. And number 11, I think, is Ryan Jones. And he's currently sitting third in the order with a 143.480. And one of the cars pulls across to the right, allow him by so he doesn't get in the way and interfere with his timed lap. Ryan's been pushed back to fourth at the moment. Andrew Dyson has now taken the top spot, 143.253. And there's that McLaren with the flames out the back, which we saw dominate the last round completely from start to finish. Started on pole and finished first, and he's actually decided to exit that lap. Perhaps he's not happy with something in the car. He's going to make a bit of a change and then probably go back out again. And he may also have just simply decided that that lap will be good enough for him just to get started. He's not that far in front. He's got about a tenth of a second over Glaspool. And the number 87 GT3 Mustang, which is newly released to iRacing not so long ago. I think we only got them about 2 or 3 days before the last round, so it's a couple of weeks ago. And the boys have had a bit more time to actually experience the car and get used to it. And he's pulled up in front of somebody who was actually coming down behind him, and they've had to abort their lap as well. And I believe that's Edward Foster. Number 53 Natari car, yep. He's getting out of the way of these guys. And there's about 2 minutes left in qualifying. So anybody who still needs to put in a good lap, this is their one and only chance. They'll need to get it done very quickly as we watch Edward come around through that final turn and down the front straight. But that lap was interfered with a couple of times. He all but pulled out of that, and rather than exit, he decided to finish the lap. I think this one here will probably be the lap he's after. We just take a look that he's currently sitting in 7th with a 143.717. So he's going to want to improve upon that. He's sitting around about less than a tenth of a second off Andrew Dyson, actually. No, that can't be right. Yeah, he's about half a tenth off Andrew Dyson. Or 5 tenths, pardon me, sorry. And one of the Quantum Motorsport cars, I think that might be Luke Georgeson. Oh, that's Phil Butler, okay, the number 81 car. There'll be, I think, a couple of Quantum cars in this race tonight. And being number 81, that is Phil Butler. And just looking to see where Phil is on the timesheets, but I don't know whether he's actually registered a time yet. So we'll just have to wait. This will be his one and only lap, I imagine, if that's the case. And 13, 12, 11, 10 seconds left in qualifying. The guys are pretty much out of time. So what we'll probably see, anybody who's already on a timed lap will get to finish it, I think. Anybody who isn't will, and Phil Butler's actually pulled off to the pits there, so he's not recorded a time, I don't think. All right, so we've just got a minute while they grid up, and we'll take we're going to go to an ad before we look at the grid. We'll be back in just a moment. And welcome back. We are at round 6 of the Everything Simulated GT3 series, put on by Aussie Outlaws at Watkins Glen. And this is the boot without a bus stop. As we take a look at the grid, Andrew Dyson once again on pole in the 41 machine with a 143.253. James Glaspool next to him on the front row in the 979 car. And we'll go back to Nick Bottrell and Philip Worley on the second row. Row 3 is Bradley J. Cooper and Ryan Jones in that number 11 car. Edward Foster has managed row 4 alongside Damien McBay in the 923 car. Row 5, Robbie Bradbury and Brett Douglas, a name I haven't seen for a little while. He's been around for a very long time. Row 6, Tom Williams and Stephen Banks, our series leader at the moment, with Andrew Dyson second in the championship. Jason Martin and Dave Douglas on row 7. And great to see Dave starting up there again. Scott Lefevre and Peter Pavlovic. Josh Micklemore and Jamie Nankervis on row 9. Philip Butler and James Lawrence on row 10. Trent Thomas and Brad Fenley, row 11. Phil Bissett and Phil Otto, row 12. Row 13 is Paul Drady and Jared Williams. Riley Curtis and Stephen Williams. Round 14. Row 15. Carl Wilkinson Withy, who I wish was in here and not on track, with Tristan Koch. Towards the back of the field there, Scott Barton and Mark Johansson, the series admin. And row 17, Matt Raymond in the number 83 car, and opting not to register a time and start at the rear of field. And we'll see how he goes with this as the Porsche safety car brings the field down into, well, where the bus stop normally would be, but because we're not using it, the boys go straight through, and that'll bring them down in a moment through the boot with the front of Andrew Dyson's car there. And will the McLaren be dominant tonight? Well, we'll see if he can repeat last week's performance on a track that I believe he said he was fine with, but not a huge fan of. I can't remember. You'd have to watch last week's broadcast to see what he said in the post-race interview. I believe he's a bit more of a fan of this one. It's a beautiful layout, a great track for these cars, and I've got a feeling we're going to see some fantastic racing tonight. It's a very fast-flowing track with a couple of slightly slower corners, and I've got a feeling that the boys will absolutely enjoy this, but they are going to have to be on the ball, and they're going to have to keep their minds on the job, because there are a couple of places that will bring them undone if they get a bit of fatigue. But remembering that this is a 20-minute race, so we've got 20-minute race and then a 30-minute race with no qualifying between, and a full reverse grid in the second race. So anybody who's after big points are really going to have to set their mark here. But remembering that whoever finishes at the front in this race will start at the back of field, and that can be very treacherous starting at the back on a full reverse grid, because you've got all the slower cars in front of you. It'll be good to see some of the AM guys up in towards the front again. Dave Douglas generally runs in the top 10 in the early stages through to about mid-race, and he's making a bit of a habit of that, starting off row 12 tonight. So we'll see what he can do off the start. But the Porsche pace car, the safety car, has pulled in, and Andrew Dyson has control of the field until we hit the stripe, and he's gone. That's it. We're green, and he's got the foot down as he absolutely buries it, and he's in front of Glaspool, and behind Glaspool they're still running too wide, but it's Dyson leading the field away, Glaspool second, and then we've got Worley third, Jones fourth, and Nick Bottrell rounding out the top five at the moment, with Raymond and Johansson mixing up and swapping places at the back of the field. And you can see most guys are actually on that right-hand side there, with a couple of people just looking to get some air in the front of the car, line himself up for this corner. And it is an apex corner, but then you've got to run very wide when you get out of there and off to the left-hand side of the track. Prepare yourself for running down this section into the boot as the McLaren continues to lead. And you can tell it's the McLaren with those beautiful flames out the back, with Andrew Dyson, the number 41 car, leading by about 3-4 car lengths over Glaspool, who's holding down second by about the same distance, back to Worley. And then you've got Nick Bottrell fourth and Ryan Jones still rounding out the top five at the moment, as they clear the boot section and they're back onto the normal part of the circuit. And that's the complex there. You don't want to hit that ripple strip. It can get very out of hand very quickly. Repeat that. And we're going to go to a replay. Something's happened with Dave Douglas. And we're just going to watch Dave now. He's on the inside. And, yes, he's gone for a passing manoeuvre there and run over that left-hand ripple strip, which has unsettled the car. And he suddenly, the guy on his outside's come across, and he's just got nowhere to go, and the car's been unsettled by that ripple strip. I don't think his plan was to run over that ripple strip, but when he saw the everything simulated car heading towards him, he stayed where he was. So unfortunately, Dave's taken the fence there on the other side of the track. That's probably a little bit of damage to that car. We'll have to keep an eye out and see what happens with Dave. I don't know how bad the damage would have been. And Glaspool has taken the lead from Andrew Dyson, something we didn't see last week. Dyso, for some reason, has dropped back to second after having a several car lengths lead. But Glaspool's taken the lead. Dyso's happily sitting in behind him there at the moment. And there's a long way to go. We've got lap 2 of about 12. It's a timed race of about 20 minutes. And works out to be around about 12 laps, or the timer, whichever comes first. And so we're looking at Glaspool first, Dyson second, Worley still third, Bottrell still fourth, and Ryan Jones still holding down fifth place. The back of the field there, we've got Dave Douglas back to 27th after that little incident. Phil Bissett has obviously had an issue somewhere. He's right to the back of the field now behind Micklemore. So something untoward has happened there. As Glaspool continues to lead this from Dyson. And we've got an instant replay, and we're going to take a look at what might have happened here. Not a lot of room, and around she goes, and there's cars on top of cars. So there's damage all over the place there. There's 3 cars that have just gotten damaged out of that, and that would be why those guys have dropped back to the back of the field. And we'll have to wait and see how they go as far as repairs are concerned. Just taking a look at this, his front air dams all over the place will be a result of that accident, yeah. And it's basically there because, yeah, see the cars come up over it. So a fair bit of damage on those 3 cars, and they'll have to pit and see what they can do with those and get back out there. And we've got the GT3 Mustang. Good heavens, not looking too healthy at all. So he's come, he's gone loose somewhere on the track, and it looks like he's put it into the fence, and he's heading for the pits. Yeah, a bit of a shame. They're a great-looking car, but that doesn't look so good at the moment. We're going to take a bit of a look, and we're back live as Dyson has taken the spot back from Glaspool, and Dyson back in the lead from Glaspool, Worley, Bottrell and Jones. That 3rd, 4th and 5th have not actually changed. It's just the 1st and 2nd swapping positions a little bit here and there. Dyson's got a few car lengths, and Glaspool has got Bissett, I think it is, behind him. Worley, sorry. Worley, then Bottrell, then Jones, pardon me. As we get a decent view of the gaps between the cars in that top 5, and then there's an even bigger gap back to 6th place there at the moment. Ryan Jones looking to move up a spot on the right-hand side, on the inside there. And doesn't get the move done, so he's dropped back to 5th for this part of the complex. And we're going to take a look at what happened there with Ryan Jones. He obviously thought better of it, but he was making a move on that inside. And, he got a bit loose there, ran out of room. I think he touched the ripple strip, so he's gotten loose, spun it round. And he didn't just drop back to 5th. He's actually probably lost a few spots over that one and backed it into the tyre barrier. So hopefully it wasn't that hard a hit, and he didn't cop any real damage. It looks like the wing's okay on it. But, yeah, he's dropped back a couple of spots, and he'll fight to make that back up again. As we see Dyson continue to lead. Coming around through turn 11, down onto the front straight to start the next lap. And it's still Dyson, Glaspool, Worley, Bottrell, Jones, Brad Cooper, McBay, Foster in 8th, or up to 7th now. Bradbury, Banks, and Douglas, Brett Douglas, running out the top 10. As we see lap 5 of 12, so we're getting up to the halfway mark on this one. And there's Ed Foster in that green BMW, sitting back in 7th place at the moment. And he's sitting in behind Cooper and McBay. So Ryan Jones, I'd say, has pitted because of that spin, and he backed it into the tyre barrier. So he's obviously pitted to see what he can do with that. And we'll see if he rejoins or if the damage was worse than we thought. Oh, no, there he is there. That's the number 11 car, I believe. So that's Ryan Jones there. And obviously just further back in the field due to that spin. His recovery wasn't as good as I actually thought it was. He's back in 17th at the moment in that number 11 car. Dyson, Glaspool, Worley, Bottrell and Cooper is your top 5 for round 6 of the Everything Simulated GT3 series, brought to you by Aussie Outlaws. As we take a look at Glaspool, has again taken the lead from Dyson. As they come down across the line, that should update, and it has, with Worley, Bottrell and Cooper, and now McBay has actually moved up, so Bradbury's just dropped back a couple of spots. McBay and Foster have actually passed him, and McBay's sitting in 5th now with Foster in 6th. As we on lap 6, so we're at the halfway mark, and looking to get this out of the way as cleanly as possible, but a couple of the guys have come loose and not managed to actually do that. But easy to spot that number 53 BMW of Ed Foster. Very bright green at the it is. And just saying good day to Scott Barton is actually in the live chat. And Shannon Wright, good day, how are you? And he's actually in the live chat on YouTube as well. As we continue to go back to the field. And just keeping an eye on one of the Valve Esports cars. And he's got Jason Martin on his outside. Jason Martin and then number 21 Audi. And there's a couple of GT3 Mustangs there mixing it up with the boys, with the 2 Audis as well. And 976 is Brett Douglas for Valve Esports, and he's just dropped a spot to one of those GT3 Mustangs I was talking about. And it's Matt Cooper, sorry. Yeah, I was looking for his name in the list there, but yeah. But that's okay. And yeah, sorry, folks, just on my own here at the moment, and I run out of things to say. Okay, so, yep, he's moved up a spot with Brett Douglas moving back a spot, and ahead of him is Jason Martin in 7th place. So good to see the AM guys putting their hand up. The top 6 cars at the moment are all in the pro class, though, and Dyson has actually taken the lead back from Glasspool. Worley, then Foster in 4th, Bradbury in 5th, Banks, our series leader, in 6th place. And so he's in a fairly handy spot at the moment, Stephen Banks. He'll be looking to get some nice points sitting in the top 6 there at the moment if he can hold that for the last 4 or 5 laps of this. As we look at lap 7, and that's the back of the McLaren, obviously, from Glaspool's car. Andrew Dyson in the lead. And we go on board with Glaspool in the number 979. And it's obviously the Porsche, it says there on the dash. As they run wide out there, that's a much better way to do it. round through turn 11 as they come down to complete lap 7 and start lap 8. Down through turn 1. Glaspool not letting Dyson get away. And Worley's making sure he keeps in touch with those two cars at the front. But then there's a reasonable gap. In fact, it's daylight back to 4th place. Edward Foster is in 4th place, and he's about 5 seconds back at the moment. And as we come down through the entry into the boot, and that section of the track is actually called, the heel. No, it's not. It's the chute, pardon me. The chute. It's the chute, the boot, and the heel. And then they come up into the normal complex that you would normally see them using without the boot, where they come through the top end of the complex. Repeat that. So we've got the top 3 battling at the moment. But as I said, daylight back to Ed Foster in 4th place, 5 seconds back. And then Bradbury, Banks, Martin, Cooper, Williams, and Brett Douglas rounding out the top 10 at the moment. So these 3 have pretty much skipped away from the rest of the field. And with about 5 laps to go, I think it'll be 4 when they cross the line this time. Oh, that is the best way to take that corner, is to get as close as possible to that wall. But I've seen so many guys misjudge that, and I've done it myself. And you just tag that wall, even just brush it a little bit, it can actually wash off a fair bit of speed. And Dyson in command of this one once again. Glaspool's going to want to take that spot back, I would imagine. And Worley in the Mustang, at this point, appears to be happy to run 3rd, although he's gone out wide. And Glaspool's, well, I don't know whether you'd call that a block or whether he was making a move on Dyson, but he's taken the lead back. And Worley almost wore the Porsche as a bonnet emblem. And Dyson has managed to hold on to 2nd. And because of that, poor old Phil Worley would have actually lost a lot of speed because he expected to actually make the move down that outside and wouldn't have been actually expecting Glasspool to do that. But so he's lost out on that one, and he's really just not really lost anything because he's still in 3rd place. Like I said, daylight back to 4th place, which is Ed Foster. And both guys run fairly wide, fairly late out of the corner there. All 3 cars did that. As they come up through turn 9 and then 10. And they'll probably run a little bit wide there, up over the ripple strip. Round through turn 11, onto the pit straight. And down that front straight or pit straight. And that will make it 3 laps to go. And now actually there's a few car lengths starting to open up between Dyson and Worley, but Worley's sort of closed that up again a little bit. So down that front straight, he seemed to lose a few car lengths. So not sure why, but it looks like he might be almost happy to actually sit where he is and take the 3rd place points. No, he's actually, they're almost going to run 3 wide down there. Worley, he's actually wrong. He wants to move. He wants to get up. He wants those points from those positions in front of him. He's not happy to sit where he take the 3rd place point on the podium. Dyson has taken a little bit back Glasspool. So with the laps coming down, we've got about 2.5 to go. The battle really is on. These guys are not happy to sit where they are and just take the podium points. All 3 of the other guys want that top spot, but rapidly running out of time as they come up through the back of the complex, and they'll come around out of the boot area. And up into the top end of the complex there through turn 9. And then the left-hander at turn 10, they'll run wide over the ripple strip on the entry into turn 11. All three running well, the front two ran reasonably close to the wall. Wally seemed to pull his punches a little bit on that corner exit as they come down through turn 1 with 2 laps to go. Dyson's opened up a couple of car lengths over Glaspool. Wally's about 2 car lengths off Glaspool in third. As they come up through onto that back straight, which is where all the speed is at the moment. Now, will Wally actually try and move out? I don't think he's in a position to do so. Too much of a gap between himself and Glaspool, and Glaspool is too far back from Dyson to really sort of do anything about Andrew at the moment. Oh, a little bit of a wiggle from Glaspool. He's lost a bit of speed there. Wally's actually seen that and taken advantage of it. Goes down the outside and takes second place, but now he's come across a little bit. Oh, that was very close. Almost comes into contact with Glaspool, who's now been pushed back to third, and Wally moves up into second place. But Glaspool's not going to be happy about that. He's going to want that spot back. He had second. He's been running second for just about the entire race, second or first. He's been running in that top 2. He's not going to want to finish third after putting such an effort. But yeah, that little wiggle, that's all it takes. A little bit of a wiggle, a slight lift off the pedal just to try and bring the car back under control. And Wally saw that and just pounced on it like a seagull on a chip. But they're too far apart to actually do much about it at the moment. Dyson's pretty much in command of this. As we come across and get the white flag, I believe, we are on the final lap. We'll see what happens here now. Is somebody actually going to take a chance and do something risky and get desperate for the extra points, or are they going to be happy to finish where they are? Ed Foster sitting comfortably in 4th place, but like I said, daylight back between 3rd and 4th. So Ed's pretty sensible. All he's got to do is hold on to 4th. He knows that there's not much chance of him moving up a spot. There's too big a gap there. And Wally's making moves like he actually wants to win this. On the final lap, he's going to push it pretty hard, but I don't think Dyson's going to let him have his way with this. He's not going to relinquish that lead, not this close. Hey? And Wally, yeah, first week in the series. And he's really sort of making his mark on it. He's letting everybody know he's no pushover, and he's certainly here to win. He's here to race. And we've got about a half a lap left on this one. And there's about a car length between first and second, and about two and a half between second and third as they run very wide through there. Round through the turn there, out of turn 9, and prepare for the left-hander at turn 10 once again. And they'll run wide over that ripple strip, or on the ripple strip, round through turn 11, and I think that's pretty much done. We are now finishing, and Andrew Dyson will win race 1 tonight of our 2 sprint races, with Phil Worley in second, Glaspool third, Foster brings it home 4th. Banks, our series leader, rounds out the top 5, then Bradbury and Williams behind him. So we're going to look now, and 8th place, Jason Martin in the AM class. All the cars in front of him were all in the pro class. And then 9th, Brett Douglas, and rounding out the top 10, Brad Cooper. And we got the side-by-side happening there. So what we'll do at the moment is I'm just looking for... Sorry. And we're going to go to some ads while we wait for the drivers to be ready to do an interview, and we'll talk to Andrew Dyson. So be back in just a moment. We'll pay some bills. Stick around and come back shortly.
If you love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like Simrigs and Track Racer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, Everything Simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us, and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family, and let's race towards the future.
Well, welcome back to round 6 of the Everything Simulated GT3 series for Aussie Outlaws at Watkins, Glen. And we've got our race 1 winner, Andrew Dyson, and winner of the Pro Class and overall. Good day, Dyso. How'd that go? There was a fair bit of a battle there. It wasn't as straightforward and dominating as it was last week.
I mean, it was a bit of a battle, but I think I dominated. I mean, I led the most laps, and it's pretty much got the dub. So unlucky, Jimmy and Willie.
Yeah, but yeah, look, he certainly brought the challenge, and then Phil Worley on his first week in the series, he was flying the flag there as well, letting you know that he was there, and the two of those were battling each other and certainly not wanting to let you get away. How'd the car feel out there? Set up and everything was good, obviously.
I suppose the setup was about as good as it could be, but everyone complained about the same thing. The track was about 47 degrees or something like that, I think they said, and it was sliding everywhere. We were all nearly having minor, crashes everywhere. Well, there would have been major crashes, but we nearly had a crash just about every lap, I reckon, all of us. It was quite slippery.
Yeah, I figured it was a little bit slippery out there. There was a few guys actually sort of came loose and took out the fence and the tyre barrier and stuff. Your teammate Ryan Jones actually got loose and backed it into the tyre wall at one point. But we'll keep it brief because we've got another race coming up and you're going to want to go and get ready for that. So, yeah, look, congratulations. Do you want to do a shout out now or are you going to wait for later?
Oh, well, I've got to get here first. I probably won't. I mean, honestly, it's actually quite hard to pass here. So unless you sort of rely on driving people and they're friendly about it up the straight, it is quite difficult to pass. So
who do you want to give a shout out to, mate?
I want to say thanks to you guys for putting this on, and thanks to everyone who puts the league together, and thanks to all the boys for coming out for a race tonight.
No worries at all. I'll let you go and get ready for the next race then. Andrew Dyson, overall winner and winner of the Pro Class for race 1 tonight with 2 sprint races. And thanks very much, Dyso, and we'll probably catch up with you later after the second race. We'll see how you go on that one getting through.
Cheers, boys. Thanks.
Jason Martin, our AM class winner. How are you?
Oh, not bad, mate.
You did pretty well there tonight. You brought it home in a pretty decent position overall and won the AM class. So well done and congratulations.
Yeah, cheers, mate. I'm pretty happy with that. I expected to go okay here, but never expect to win the class.
Well, you're in the top. You're actually the only. I think you were the only AM driver in the top 10 tonight for that first race. But we will keep it brief because you've got another race to get ready for. How did you find it? A bit slippery out there?
Felt fine to me. I was just too worried about the fuel because I didn't do enough practice to know how much fuel I needed. So I was saving a bit because I didn't know if I'd have enough.
Yeah, I was just talking to Daiso then, and he said he needs to go and figure out how much fuel he needs for the 30-minute race. So he could be in the same boat. So congratulations, mate. You want to give a shout out to anyone while you got the chance?
Just cheers for you guys for the broadcast. And yeah, see what happens in the next race. Going to be interesting with all the quick guys at the back.
Yeah, all the quick guys at the back and the guys at the front. So I'm hoping that they get a nice clean start for at least the first couple of laps. Daiso was saying how hard it is to pass here from the back on a reverse grid. So it's going to be pretty interesting, and there may be some excitement involved. So good luck for that. And congratulations on winning the AM class and finishing in the top 10. Jason Martin, we'll catch up with you hopefully at the end of this next one.
Unlikely, but thanks, mate.
Wish you all the best, mate. Good luck for it. So that was Jason Martin, and we now are in warm-up for the next race, which is a 30-minute race and full reverse grid. So that's going to be pretty interesting. Want to go to an ad? And while we've got a few minutes, are we going to throw to an ad? Yep, all right, we're going to throw to an ad. We're going to pay some bills and get some sponsor stuff out of the way. So we'll be back in just a minute. Stick around for the second race, round 6 at Watkins Glen.
If you love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like SimRigs and TrackRacer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, Everything Simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us, and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family, and let's race towards the future.
You went, you served, and forged the relationships that only being baptized in the fire of combat can develop. At FallInVeteran.com, we understand the unique bond that veterans share. That's why we've created a platform where you can connect, share experiences, and build lifelong friendships with fellow veterans. Signing up is easy. Simply visit www.fall-in-veteran.com and create your profile. Customize it to reflect your military service interests and hobbies. FallInVeteran.com is more than just an online community. It's a support network where you can find resources, advice, and encouragement from those who understand what you've been through. Whether you're looking for camaraderie, mentorship, or simply a place to share your stories, FallInVeteran.com has it all. Join thousands of veterans who have already found their tribe and start connecting today. FallInVeteran.com. Come join us and experience the power of community. Sign up now at www.fall-in-veteran.com.
And welcome back to round 6 of the Everything Simulated GT3 series for Aussie Outlaws. And thanks to Outlaw Slot Cars, Ariel Auto Art and associated sponsors. As we take a look in the socials at the moment, we are in warm-up for race 2, which is a 30-minute race. And good day again to Scott Barton and Shannon Wright in the YouTube live chat. Loving the ESR liveries. Shannon loves the ESR liveries. So, yep, good day. Shannon loves everything esports. I see. I'm with you. Okay. Oh, right. With everything simulated, you mean? Yep, everything's simulated. Sorry, I'm just talking to the producer. I know you can't hear him, and I'm on my own in the booth at the moment. And he's just letting me know that Shannon is actually the owner of the sponsor for the series, Everything's Simulated. So good day to you, and thank you very much for sponsoring the series and helping to make it happen. As we take a look at Tristan Koch, and the session has ended. We are checkered flag, and we will start to line them up. And this is a full reverse grid of all cars. So we're going to see Andrew Dyson, Glaspool, Worley, those guys are all going to have to fight from the back to get to the front, and they've got 30 minutes to do it and to avoid any incidents along the way. So as we see the cars taking the grid, and we've got Andrew, that's wrong. Okay, it's brought up the first place first. So it's brought up the old grid. That's okay. We'll ignore that. And we'll just take a look at what is going on here. Number 93. It looks like ATVO is having a few issues with the order of the cars there at the moment. Oh, no, there we go. Yep, he was second row. Front row is Bissett. Then Micklemore alongside him. Curtis, Jones, Thomas, Lawrence, Butler in 7th. Johansson in 8th in the 14 car. Then Tristan Koch. And rounding out the top 10 is Williams. So we'll see how we go. I'm expecting a bit of excitement here, folks, on this opening couple of laps, remembering that the front runners from the last race are starting at the back and they need to make their way forward. It could be very dodgy and it could be dangerous. And we'll see what these guys at the front can do. Hopefully they don't get too silly and they keep it basically respectable and give each other a bit of racing room. And try not to set the world on fire. I mean, you're going to certainly want to go hard, but let's be realistic about it. You're going to have very quick guys coming through in some very quick cars, and you certainly don't want to be the one that takes out the series leader or anything like that. So sitting behind the Porsche safety car at the moment, as we make our formation lap around the Watkins Glen circuit. And as you can see there, the last 3 spots are our podium of Dyson, Worley and Glaspool. And Stephen Williams actually in the 98 car sitting just outside the top 10. And g'day to Scott Barton, who actually did comment in the live chat earlier, and he's actually sitting 12th out there at the moment on this reverse grid. Cars make their way around. Don't see too many wiggling, actually, to get the tyre temps up. Normally you see a bit of that, but not seeing too much of that at the moment. I think they're being fairly careful about what they do with this start. So it'll be going to be very interesting to see what sort of start Phil Bissett can get. And Josh Micklemore's right beside him in that blue car from Mitch Motorsports, and he's going to actually want a piece of this. So it's going to be very interesting to see what these 2 guys on the front row can do with it. As they cruise down, wait to get under green. The field forms up quite nicely There's a little bit of a wiggle there from a couple of the guys in the background. Some lights flashing. Let's get on with it. Now, I'm expecting Ryan Jones in the 11 car, who I think finished right. Yeah, well, he obviously finished right towards the back, or he didn't finish at all, because he had that incident where he looped it and reversed it into the tyre barrier in the first race. And Bissett's decided to put the foot down and just move ahead a little bit. He's probably going to need to be careful with that. If he goes too fast too soon, marshals might actually ping him for that. The Porsche safety car's about to pull off the circuit. Ryan Jones, I think, is going to have a real crack at this on the start. He should have been one of the front runners in that last race, but had that incident. And I think Micklemore's been caught out there. Bissett's got a much better start. Ryan Jones is absolutely busting to get past Josh Micklemore. Slips into third place ahead of Curtis in that red and blue Mustang, and he's up to second already. As I said, I expected Ryan Jones to have a real crack at this. He's normally one of the front runners. Had that incident, unfortunately. And I'm expecting to see him move to the inside like he has now, and he'll try and take that spot away from Bissett, which is exactly what he's done. Bissett drops back to second, Micklemore third, Curtis in the 93 car is in third in the Mustang. And it hasn't updated yet, but Ryan Jones listing fourth there. He is actually in the lead. And he's probably going to make a bit of a move, and he'll do the disappearing trick at the front there, I imagine. No disparaging on the guys behind him, but he is normally quite quick and would have finished much further up the field on the first race if he hadn't had that incident. So Ryan's going to go for all he's worth on this. It's his big opportunity, because he knows that his main competitors are at the back and they've got to work their way through the whole field to catch up with him. So this is a great opportunity for Ryan Jones to really stamp his authority on this race, put a big gap between him and the normally slightly off the mark guys that are behind him at the moment on this reverse grid. And he's already starting to put a few car lengths there on Phil Bissett. And as they cross the line, he'll start to update the positions, and it has done that now. Josh Micklemore has got a challenge from Curtis in the 93 Mustang, that red and blue Mustang down the inside on Micklemore, and he has actually completed that move and moves up to third place, and he'll go off after Bissett now. Micklemore dropped back to fourth, and he's got Lawrence all over the back of him, so he's going to be wanting to... not wanting to look in the rearview mirror at that big set of teeth on the front end of that green Porsche. Looks like something out of Jaws at the moment. But Ryan Jones leading away on this and trying to put as much of a gap there as possible without getting too risky. There's plenty of spots here that he'll open up a couple of car lengths while he's got the chance, and other spots where he'll need to just lift it a bit and give the other guys a chance to close that gap just slightly as we take a look further back in the field. And GT3 Mustang getting a little bit of a wiggle up there and dropping a spot, coming through that right-hander down through the boot as Tristo Koch and a couple of the DPR cars go through. So he's dropped about 3 or 4 spots there, getting a bit loose. Probably got on the power a little bit too early and coming into that right-hander and up the hill. Through that boot complex, and he'll regret that, but he's got a bit of time to work it out. We're on lap 2 of 17 at the moment. It's a 30-minute race, approximately 17 laps, and we've got, I believe it's one of the DPR cars, and I'm just looking at it. Is that number 98, is it, I think? Is it, I can't see the number. No, it's not. It's, Josh Micklemore in the 31 car. I'm actually looking at the DPR car that's just gone past him. Oh, that's Curtis. Sorry. That's Curtis that's passed him in the Ferrari. Or actually, it's a Corvette. Damien McBay, is it? Okay, sorry, folks, the standings are not as it happens. They update when they cross the line. But McBay, after making that big move, has suddenly just gotten loose there. He saved it, kept it off the wall, but he's going to lose a couple of spots. Oh, he's lucky. It's one of his teammates who gave him the opportunity to get that back on track. But, yeah, he just simply pushed a little bit too hard on that outside, or on the inside, sorry. I think he may have put a couple of wheels on that ripple strip, gotten a bit loose. But, as I said, he saved it, kept it off the wall. And one of his teammates, that's Stephen Williams in the 98 Porsche, coming up behind him and didn't take advantage of that, gave him a chance to actually get the thing going up and going again. As we watch these guys filing through pretty much in single file. There's a couple of spots that they'll actually have a crack. Normally that wouldn't have been a bad idea by McBay, but I just don't think that Lawrence gave him enough room there. Lawrence had every right to hold his position there, and McBay realised that he was out of room. There was nowhere to go. As Lawrence actually takes on Curtis at the moment in the 93 Mustang and takes the spot away from him. So what's going to happen here, of course, is this is just the fast section at the back there on the back straight. And the Mustang probably going to have the power down low here. And nope, no chance of it whatsoever. But he'll probably follow him around and maybe give it a crack next time around. The Porsche just managed to have the legs there down the straight. You can see the Mustang was actually going to have a crack and just couldn't quite get it done. Jason Martin there making his way through the field. And we see an everything simulated car, the ERS team. And there's Andrew Dyson making his way through the field as he dispatches quite a few of these guys, one at a time. And gets the job done there, moves up another couple of spots. View of the back of that McLaren from the front of the ERS Mustang with those flames as the field comes into turn 10 and they all run a bit wide over the ripple strip. Jason Martin a little bit loose there as they come through the final turn and down the front straight to start the next lap. So that'll be the start of lap 6. And we're looking at 18 laps now. And Jason Martin getting caught on the outside there. There's 3 wide. And it looks like Lawrence there. No, it's Ed Foster actually in the BMW. And he's trying to give a bit of racing room to Andrew Dyson, who's desperately trying to get through the bulk of this field and get it back up to the pointy end. And there's the view of those flames out the back of the McLaren from Edward Foster's car as they come down through the chute into the boot on that bottom half of the complex. Top 10 at the moment. Ryan Jones continues to lead from Bissett. Lawrence in third. That's your podium at the moment. Curtis in the Mustang. Then Micklemore, Douglas, McBay, Williams, Glasspool, and Williams rounds out the top 10. But there could be a couple of positions of swap there because it hasn't updated since we crossed the line. So, but that is your top 10. And that's the order that I actually have them in at the moment as we take a look at Ryan Jones, who is absolutely doing everything he can to make as big a gap as possible there. And we take a look back to Bissett and Lawrence sitting second and third at the moment as they come down the front straight, cross the line and start another lap. So we are now on lap 7, I believe it should be. But yeah, a big set of teeth on the front of that Porsche. So he's done pretty well getting that on there. That's pretty good livery the way it stands out. What I would have actually done myself is I would have actually done the rest of the car like a great white shark. So grey on the top, white on the bottom sort of deal. And would have really set that teeth off. But Lawrence now takes a position away from Bissett, pushes him back to third. Curtis in the 93 red and blue Mustang sits in fourth at the moment. Then McVeigh, Dave Douglas in the AM class is up to sixth place at the moment. And then our third place, from the first race. Glaspool is in seventh. Tom Williams, Brad Fenley up to ninth, which is good to see. And Stephen Williams rounding out the top 10, another AM class driver in the top 10. So we've got three of them all up because Riley Curtis is actually an AM class driver and he's sitting in fourth in that blue and red Mustang number 93. And so we've got three AM class drivers in the top 10. Riley's having a pretty good run there at the moment. Gets the job done there. And as we're looking at the view at the back of, I think, it's Wally. Sorry, it's Wally's Mustang. I was trying to remember who had the black Mustang. Sorry. And there's Brad Fenley in the VB Ferrari. And I believe that's Stephen Williams behind him. So Wally's moved up a couple of spots into the top 10, pushed Steve Williams out to 11th. Brad Fenley now back to 10th. We are on lap 7 of 18 is what I have here. And the cars are fairly spread out at the moment. There's a couple of car lengths between each of them. So not a lot of bumper-to-bumper, side-by-side type racing going on at the moment. They close and they spread and they close and they spread. But most of the field is spread out by at least a car length or two between them. Dyson continues to run his way through the field. And he's moving up behind Brad Fenley at the moment. So that puts Dyson in 11th, which is quite a drive from him so far. But considering that Glaspool started back there with him at the rear of field on the reverse grid, and Wally's 2 spots up on Dyson, and Glaspool sitting in 5th. And those three were your podium for the first race. They started together at the back. So the other two guys have a much better run through the field at the moment than what Dyson appears to be experiencing. He's really trying to get himself up into that top 10. He wants to actually catch the other two, but his teammate Ryan Jones continues to lead this by over 6 seconds at the moment in the number 11 Ferrari. And so he's having a really happy run at the moment. But he knows that he needs to actually get there and he needs to hold that. He's got it turns out to be a fantastic opportunity for him on points towards the championship. So if he can actually stay where he is for about the next 10 laps or so, that's going to be a nice fistful of points in the championship. Isn't that right, Steve? Yes, Steve, that's right. And I've got nobody here to throw to, so I'll talk to myself. And the ERS cars getting the job done out there as well. And Dave Douglas is right in between them, and he's splitting those two vehicles there at the moment. It's a DPR car and an ERS car. And we're going to throw to an ad and pay some bills at the moment, and we'll be right back. Stick around.
If you love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like SimRigs and TrackRacer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, everything simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us, and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family, and let's race towards the future.
And welcome back to round 6 at Watkins Glen of the Everything Simulated GT3 Championship for 2024, brought to you by Aussie Outlaws. And we've got some fantastic racing going on. Not a lot of action. I'm very surprised that there hasn't been a lot of cars going off the circuits, looping, spinning, hitting the wall, hitting each other. So, yeah, they're very good. And I'm a little bit recharged for this last 7 or 8 laps. As they cross the line there, I think that will probably be the start of lap 11 or 12. So that is the start of lap 11. So the counter must have changed while I wasn't looking at it before they got there. So we've got about 7 laps to go in this one, or around about 11 or 12 minutes. And the boys are doing really good work out there as we see the McLaren continue to make its way through the field with Andrew Dyson at the wheel. And Ryan Jones continues to lead by 6.5 seconds from Lawrence in the Porsche. And then you've got Glaspool, McBay, Bissett, Worley, Dyson is up to 7th. Tom Williams, David Douglas still in the top 10 there in the AM class. Riley Curtis right behind him in the 93 red and blue Mustang. And he's also an AM class driver, as is Bill Bissett. Worley, keep in mind that this performance is fantastic stuff. His first week in the series. So this is basically his second race with these guys. And he's really signalled that he's a danger in the championship. If he'd actually been here from the start, you sort of, it's frightening as to where he may be in the championship, this guy. But look, he's getting the job done, and he's very happy out there at the moment. He's getting some good points, finished second in the first race, and he's got about 6 laps or so to go to stamp his mark on this one. He's sitting 6th with Dyson right behind, almost right behind him, on track. They're still separated a bit, but Dyson 7th, Bissett 6th, and the other guy from our first race podium is Glasspool in 3rd, and he'll be real happy. That's who's going to be happy, is Glasspool, because he's sitting 3rd in this one. He got 3rd in the first race, so twin podiums will be good points for him in the championship. But at the moment, it's all about Ryan Jones in the number 11 Ferrari. And Lawrence, of course, is an AM as well. I didn't notice that. Lawrence in that green Porsche with the teeth at the front. He's an amateur. He's in the AM class. There he is there. He's actually sitting 2nd in this at the moment. So that's excellent stuff from the AM class driver. He's sitting between, in a pro sandwich at the moment. Or it's an AM sandwich, actually, with, technically, but we won't go there. McBay is sitting 4th at the moment. He's a pro. Worley is a pro. Bissett is an AM. Dyson's a pro. Williams is a pro. Dave Douglas and Riley Curtis both in the AM class. So Lawrence, Douglas and Curtis, Lawrence, Bissett and Douglas is your AM class pro podium at the moment. And your pro class podium is Jones, Glasspool and McBay. So they're the guys you need to watch. But I can tell you right now, don't take your eyes off Andrew Dyson. Oh, yeah, that's not good at all. He's just given the wall a real good tap there. But it hasn't washed off as much speed as I thought it would. That 233 car of Worley, he's just misjudged that a little bit and just brushed the wall. We saw the car get a little bit of a shake, but it didn't wash off as much speed as I thought he might by hitting that. And we've got a DPR Corvette right behind him. That's obviously McBay, and he's going to want that spot. Dyson is up to 6th at the moment. He's past Phil Bissett. And Dyson in the top 6 after winning the first race. So that's going to be good news for him at the moment. He's going to be real keen. But he'll also know laps are running out. I think when they cross the line this time, there'll only be something like 4 or 5 laps left. I think 4 laps, so we're on lap 13, so that'll make it lap 14. That should make it 5 by the time they complete the final lap. So time running out for Dyson to get back on the podium, and he's getting closer and closer to his 2 opponents from race 1 in Glasspool and Worley. But Lawrence holding down that 2nd spot, but he's also 7.2 seconds behind Ryan Jones. So I doubt very much he's going to catch Jones at this point. I think his main aim needs to be to hold on to that 2nd place and just go as hard as he can and keep a gap between himself and Glasspool, who's sitting in 3rd. Fantastic drive from the amateur driver. And I believe, isn't he the other new driver in the series, I think? And I believe there was 2 of them. It was Worley and Lawrence, I think. So AM class, first weekend. Trent Thomas was the other one. Sorry, pardon me. But Lawrence is doing a fantastic job either way in the AM class. And as long as he can keep that going and hold that spot, he's actually got about 5 pro drivers between himself and Bissett, who is the 2nd placed AM driver, who's sitting 8th overall in the race. As we have now 5 laps to go, or about 4.5, as we take another look at Josh Micklemore in the Mitch Motorsports. I'll put my teeth back in, we'll be right. And he's on his way down the back part of the circuit there onto the straight. And ahead of him is this group of cars, which is Jason Martin, Brad Fenley, one of the PER cars there, and one of the Valve Esports cars. So there's a bit of a battle group going on there. Jason Martin, who won the AM class and finished in the top 10 for race 1. Not getting such an easy run this time, although I doubt very much he'd say it was easy in the first race. But he's certainly fighting to get himself up there, sitting in 12th at the moment, just behind Pete Pavlovic. And that's the other car there that I didn't think of. Dave Douglas there in the Audi, sitting behind Riley Curtis, and that is your 9th and 10th. Riley Curtis obviously 9th, Dave Douglas 10th. Phil Bissett ahead of them, and that puts 3 AM class drivers 8th, 9th and 10th. And of course, the next one further upfield is Lawrence, still sitting in 2nd. And he's holding it down but by a slim margin, but 7.6 seconds behind Ryan Jones. So Ryan Jones basically did exactly what I expected him to do at the start. Blasted away, had a real crack at it, knowing that that was his opportunity to get points, because most of the guys that he would have to be battling with are working their way through from the rear of field. Speaking of which, Glasspool's one of them, and he's still sitting in 3rd, and he's trying to run down Lawrence, as we see Edward Foster in the background there. But this battle pack continues on with Brad Fenley in front of Jason Martin, and these guys very close to one another, getting the job done. Some good racing amongst these guys, and very clean as well. A lot of respect between these guys, giving themselves some racing room and not making any silly mistakes at the moment. With 4 laps to go in race 2 for round 6 of Watkins Glen for the Everything Simulated GT3 series, brought to you by Aussie Outlaws. And as you can see on your screen, and there we go, Dyson's actually moved up another spot by the look of it, and he and McBay flashing lights, they're teammates. Might have been a little bit of team tactics there. The lights are flashing. Hey, Mr. Commentator, look at me. And we did notice. And I think it was Dyso celebrating, and McBay letting him know, yep, go for it, teamie. He knows he wants the points for the championship, but McBay at the same time sitting in 6th, and he's certainly he's no slouch, McBay, but whether that was team tactics or whether Dyso did actually get a genuine opportunity and McBay just didn't fight, I have no idea. But that's the order at the moment. And Dyson continues to hunt down Worley and Glasspool, who are now the 2 cars in front of him on track. And there's the Porsche of Glasspool. Lawrence. And he's got Glasspool right behind him now. Glasspool, remember, came 3rd in race 1. And he's making a move. He wants that spot. I think he's going to take it away. So our AM driver, Lawrence, who's been sat 2nd for a big lot of laps, has now dropped back to 3rd place. And he's actually got the 2 other podium sitters from race 1 right. Well, they're not right behind him. They're a fair way back, but they are hunting him down. And they've got about 2.5 laps to do it. Glasspool, if he plays his cards right, he could end up on the podium here, which would be a fantastic effort from the AM class driver. But we could actually see Worley and Dyson in the background, and they're about the length of that little short straight there between turns 9 and 10. That's the gap. That's the difference, which is probably also going to be work out to be less than the length of the front straight. So as we see Lawrence going down into turn 1, there'll be a little short gap there, and you'll see in a moment, if we get the right camera angle, we'll see Worley and Dyson moving up onto the back of Lawrence in 3rd place. And there's Dyson now, who is still chasing down Worley, and Worley's not prepared to give this up. He wanted to finish in front of Andrew Dyson in race 1, and he finished right behind him. He's not going to want to finish behind him in this one. So he's continuing to actually get the job done out there. Dyson's having to drive really well, like he usually does, but he's got a real fight in his hands here from Worley, and he's got a little bit of a gap he's still got to make up. Ryan Jones, on the other hand, is still increasing that lead. He's out to 7.7 seconds, and I don't see anybody catching him at the moment with about a lap and a half to go in this one, as Glaspool is not actually catching Ryan Jones, and Lawrence is nearly a second behind him now. The gap's starting to open up between second and third, with Worley in fourth and Dyson fifth, McBay sixth, Tom Williams seventh, Bissett eighth, Fenley is ninth, and Jason Martin up into the top 10, and that makes him the third placed AM driver. So not quite sure what's happened to Dave Douglas or Riley Curtis there, but Jason Martin back into the top 10. And so if he can finish there, he'll finish top 10 in both races and get on the podium for the AM class. As we continue to watch Glaspool and Lawrence circulate second and third. And Worley still 3 seconds back, and Dyson still a few car lengths back behind him. And I believe that's Ryan Jones, our race leader, in the number 11 Corvette. I said it was a Ferrari earlier. It's not. It's a Corvette. Oh, look, there's the new Ferrari that Chev built. And he's doing a hell of a job out the front there. He's nearly 8 seconds out from second place. As we are on the final lap, white flag for Ryan Jones. He's got about a half a lap left, and he wins this one easily on the reverse grid after an incident in the first race where I don't know whether he even finished, because he started on the second row of the reverse grid, so I don't think he actually finished the first race. And as expected, he's blasted away and made the best of this opportunity, knowing that Andrew Dyson and the other podium guys had to actually fight their way through the entire field. And he comes around turn 10, through turn 11, onto the straight, and he takes the checkered flag. Ryan Jones, congratulations. He's actually our race 2 winner, and a big fistful of points towards the championship. Well done to him. Great run. Led from about lap 1 or 2, and has managed to lead every lap of the second race in this 30-minute race. Second place, Glaspool. Third place, Lawrence, who's third overall, first place for the AM class. And the Pro Series point standings at the moment, the way they look are Stephen Banks and then Andrew Dyson. Yeah, that's the wrong one. Okay, here we go. Ryan Jones in first place, James Glaspool second, James Lawrence in third, our AM driver. So that puts him first for the AM class. Then Phil Worley, Andrew Dyson ended up finishing fifth there, so top 5 and a win for him tonight. Damien McBay, Tom Williams, Ed Foster in 8th. Phil Bissett is our second place amateur driver, and 9th, and Brad Fenley managed to get back up into the top 10 for the finish, ahead of Jason Martin, I believe, finished 11th. And Peter Pavlovic, Brett Douglas 13th, Scott Lefevre 14th, Stephen Williams 15th, Stephen Banks 16th, Josh Mickelmore 17th, Robbie Bradbury 18th, Jamie Nankervis back in 19th, and David Douglas 2 laps down in 20th place. Riley Curtis 3 laps down in 21st, Phil Otto 22nd, Trent Thomas 23rd, our other new driver, Scott Barton 24th, Nick Botchell 25th, Paul Drady 26th, Matthew Raymond 27th, Tristan Koch 28th, Brad Cooper 29th, and Mark Johansson in 30th place, 12 laps down. Carl Wizzy in 31st, Jared Williams 32nd, and Phil Butler in 33rd. That's your entire field for race 2. Wow. We're going to swing to an ad at the moment before we actually start talking to the guys. And we'll be back in a minute, so just stick around and we'll talk to our winners tonight at the Everything Simulated GT3 Championship.
If you love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, everything simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like SimRigs and Track Racer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, everything simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us, and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family, and let's race towards the future.
You went, you served, and forged the relationships that only being baptized in the fire of combat can develop. At FallInVeteran.com, we understand the unique bond that veterans share. That's why we've created a platform where you can connect, share experiences, and build lifelong friendships with fellow veterans. Signing up is easy. Simply visit www.fall-in-veteran.com and create your profile. Customize it to reflect your military service interests and hobbies. FallInVeteran.com is more than just an online community. It's a support network where you can find resources, advice, and encouragement from those who understand what you've been through. Whether you're looking for camaraderie, mentorship, or simply a place to share your stories, FallInVeteran.com has it all. Join thousands of veterans who have already found their tribe and start connecting today. FallInVeteran.com. Come join us and experience the power of community. Sign up now at www.fall-in-veteran.com.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And welcome back. We are over and done with and into the commentary booth, and we've got the drivers with us at the moment in the Everything Simulated GT3 Championship, round 6 from Watkins, Glen for Aussie Outlaws. And our first up at mic, I believe, is Jason Martin, who came third in the AM class. Well done. I said I'd be talking to you again, didn't I?
Yeah, and I thought you were going to be wrong.
You doubted me. You doubted me. I can't believe it. I'll never forgive you.
I'll never doubt you again.
But once again, finishing in the top 10 and third place for the AM class. Started 26th because of your finishing position in race 1, and we had the reverse grid. How did you find that one, fighting your way through the field?
Oh, not a good car to be starting back there with. It's a bit slow down the straight, and Yeah, so when you can't pass people down the straight, it makes it pretty hard. So I had to really work hard for the passes and hope people crashed out in front of me. So yeah, a bit of luck involved.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think you got too many instances of people crashing in front of you. That second race was fairly clean, so it was all down to you battling, I think, with other guys. The car itself, I mean, how did you find it? Was a bit slippery out there, and you had to take it easy, or?
Yeah, with the Audi, if you push it too hard in the turns, it can lose control and spin out. So it's always a bit sketchy if you overdrive it. But yeah, other than that, it was good. But yeah, just a bit too slow down the straight for my liking.
Right, yeah. Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, the Audi's got its qualities are in other places around the circuit rather than the outright speed, is it?
Yeah, pretty much into and mid-turn is where its strength is, and after that it's pretty average.
Right. So is it to do with the balance of the car or just the way they are?
I think it's just the way they designed it to be good into the turns.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah, concentrated on the handling side rather than anything else. All right, no worries. Look, I won't hold it too long, mate. I've got a few interviews to get through tonight, and anybody you want to give a shout out to? So this is 2 top 10s tonight, and 2 podiums for the AM class. So anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, my team, Mitch Motorsports, bunch of oval guys having fun on road. Our sponsor, Leppy Motorsports Concepts. You guys for the broadcast. And of course for the league. I'm having great fun doing this.
Well, that's awesome. That's great to hear. I'm sure the league admins would be happy about that, and not to mention the sponsors. And look, congratulations, Jason Martin, 3rd place in the AM class, top 10 overall, and looking forward to seeing you again in a couple of weeks.
Cheers, mate.
No worries. Thanks, Jason. Congrats, mate. All right, I believe we've got Phil Bissett now, 2nd place in the AM class. How are you, Phil?
Good, thank you, Steve. And you?
Not too bad. How did you see that race, mate?
Well, I did pretty easy, really, because going out early in the first race meant I could start at the front, so all I had to try and do was keep it on the black stuff, which was easier said than done, but, you know, it went all right in the end.
Were you aware that Ryan Jones might have been going to have a real crack there off the start, or did it take you by surprise?
No, I was ready for it. He's a different class anyway, so there was never a chance I was going to race him. We'll just let him go, so no point.
Well, it still wasn't that bad an outcome. I mean, to be perfectly honest, I mean, you started on pole, obviously, because of the reverse grid, but you've managed to have a good drive. You're fairly consistent and smooth, and you've managed to bring it home 8th and 2nd place in the AM class. So it's pat in the back, mate. That's pretty good stuff.
Thank you. Yeah, it's good to have a clean one for a change, because I keep stuffing them up on these races, getting a little bit excited, but yeah, it was good. The track lends itself to consistent laps anyway. It's a pretty good track for any driver in any car, I think so.
Well, that's it. You're driving the Audi, so you would probably concur with what Jason Martin said a couple of minutes ago about where the shortcomings of the car are and where its advantages are.
If I was as clever as Jason, I would agree. All I know is it got a bit loose in the middle of the race, which is probably related to what he was saying when you push it a bit hard. But I'm slow anyway most of the time, so I don't notice a difference on the straights compared to others.
Yeah, no worries at all. Look, anybody you want to give a shout out to, mate?
Yeah, shout out to Josh for taking me out. Well, getting me cleaned up in his crash in the first race meant I could start on pole. Other than that, just you guys and Mark for running the league.
Not a problem at all. Phil Bissett, congratulations. 2nd place in the AM class, 8th place overall. So it was a pretty good night for you, really. There's been some good points in amongst that. So when we see the tally for the AM class, that's probably going to do you some pretty good stead.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we'll catch up with you in a couple of weeks. Thanks, Phil Bissett. Congratulations, mate. James Lawrence, our AM class winner in the Green Shark, or whatever it may be. I've got to ask, what's with the teeth on the front?
It's 2 liveries. It's the Manthe Bathurst 12 Hour livery and the AO Racing Dino Mouth from IMSA.
Right,
So
okay.
I just combined both of them because I just took the best of both.
Right, no worries. Yeah, I actually made a comment that because it's got those big shark teeth mouth thing on the front there, I probably would have done it like a great white shark myself, but just to complement the teeth. But yeah, you don't miss the car on track, that's for sure. I mean that bright, almost day glow green with the yellow, it certainly stands out a bit. And then when you look at the car at the front, you go, oh yeah, I know that car. So yeah, it's a bit hard to miss, mate. Started 6th. Finished 3rd overall, plus 1st in the AM class. Good drive, mate. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. It was just a very frustrating first race. That got me to 6th place in the second. One of these race meetings, I'll actually have 2 good races and I'll be able to score some solid points. But I've just been battling computer issues. Mainly, I think that was the problem in the first race, because the cars kept disappearing, and I think there was a few crashes when I come back too. So that was just very, very frustrating on my end.
How did you find the Porsche out there? Because obviously we've heard it from the 2 Audi guys in the AM class. The Porsche itself, did you find that so where does it suffer and where has it got an advantage? Can you tell us that?
I find it pretty easy going overall, but I think if you push it too hard, it starts to slide out on the rear. I know later on in the race, if you brake a bit too deep and a bit too late, it wants to swap ends on you, so it can be a bit sketchy like that.
Right,
But,
okay.
But other than that, I think it's pretty planted, and I find it quite good to drive. I just wish I had the same pace as some of the pro guys in it, that's all.
I'm pretty sure that'll come, mate. That's a pretty decent result there tonight, and you finished 3rd in a fairly good field. You had a lot of pro drivers around you. It was at least 2 or 3 spots back to Phil in 2nd place in the AM class. So I think you've selling yourself short there, mate. I think you've done a hell of a drive there tonight and gotten the result that you needed and deserved. And it was deserved. 3rd place overall and the winner of the AM class. Now, you want to give a shout out to anybody?
Just Lutzy, my coach, that's all, really. Cheers to him.
No worries at all. All right. Congratulations, James Lawrence, in the Big Mouth Porsche. 3rd place overall. Very well done. Leader and winner of our AM class. So congratulations, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Same to you, Steve. See ya.
All righty. So now I believe we're going to be talking to Philip Worley, who's 2nd place overall. How are you, Phil?
Good, mate. Yourself?
Not too bad. Hell of a drive. All you guys really, well, you third place in the pro class, or was it?
Yeah, 3rd in pro, yep.
Yeah, 3rd in pro, 3rd overall. Sorry, 3rd in pro. I think you were about, 4th or 5th something.
Yeah, something like that.
Fourth place, sorry. Just having a seniors moment. But yeah, because good first race. Didn't get a chance to talk to you. Finished 2nd. Challenged for the lead and the win in that first sprint race, which meant on the reverse grid you obviously had to start back in 32nd place, and brought it home 4th. Tell us about your race, mate. How do you think it went? There's a few marks on the car.
Yeah, it was that last corner's pesky, mate. That wall creeps up on you real quick. The racing was good fun. Coming from the back, I thought was going to be interesting, but there wasn't that many dramas massively for everyone, so you sort of had a chance to just pick everyone off one by one, so it was good fun.
Oh, that's great. How are you finding the GT3 Mustang since it was released? You've had a bit more time in it now. Last round, we'd only had the car 2 or 3 days. So you've had a couple of weeks with it now. How are you finding it?
Personally, I'm really liking it. It sort of suits my driving style a little bit, so that's handy. I don't think it's the strongest overall package, but this place, it certainly helped that once you got out of turn 1, it played into its strength with lots of power up the straight. So
I noticed that there was a spot there. There was a time there in the first race where I think you were going to make the move on who was it, Ryan Jones or somebody, and you moved to the inside on his right, and he just came across in front of you, trying to make the same move on the guy in front of him.
Yeah.
You had to change your driving suit at the end of that race, did you?
No, not really. I mean, all the boys at the front in the first race were my teammates, so I sort of had a inkling of what they were going to do anyway, because we weren't going to punt each other off, and we're all having a bit of fun. Just a couple of times I got a really good run out of turn 1, and being in third, I had the double toe.
Yep.
But the bloke in second also has the toe on P1, so he makes the first move, and once he makes the first move, unless you want to make it 3 wide, and that's not very smart with your teammates, you sort of just got to sit in behind. But we had a good ding dong. Like, we all changed positions in the last lap. So,
well, that's your first week in the championship. You've certainly signalled that you're here to race. There's no two ways about that.
I mean, I'll have a good battle with everyone. I'm not here to win the championship, obviously, because I've missed the first few rounds. So I'm definitely not going to go and take anyone out.
I believe I made the comment during that race that if you'd been here from the start, it's frightening as to where you may be placed at the moment. So, because you've second place in the 20-minute sprint, and in fourth place in the 30, starting from the back, coming forward 28 positions. And I think really the only little hiccup you had tonight was coming out of turn 11, back onto the front straight, where you just gave the wall a bit of a brush. And it didn't really make the car unstable. We noticed that you'd actually touched the wall, but you just more glanced at anything else, didn't you?
It did give it a bit of steering damage. I was right hand down, but apart from that, nothing major. I mean, didn't hurt the straight line speed or anything.
Well, that's good. Yeah, that car would be very good here, whereas at other tracks you'd probably find it'd be a bit of a challenge on some of the tighter circuits and stuff like that that we've been to. So, but look, it's great to have you in the series, and you've driven the wheels off the thing tonight. So congratulations, fourth place overall, and third place in the pro class, second place in the first race. Can't say much more than that, mate. You've had a good night. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Just to you boys for the broadcast. Obviously, it's really nice that you can go back and watch it, and all the boys in the team. You know, if it's not for them pushing you to do stuff like this and have fun on a Wednesday night, then you don't end up doing it. I'd love to congratulate Ryan. Obviously, he didn't have the greatest first race, but capitalised in that one, and he did a mega job to not allow anyone to get to him.
Well, and I was going to try and play it down because I want his headset to fit him again next week.
Nah, it's all right. I'll pump him up. And obviously our good partners, simrigs.com, Southwell Lifts and Hoist, Ben Max Mechanical, and the lovely people at MP Designs for the awesome liveries.
Yeah, no worries. And your teammate was chasing you down pretty hard there towards the end, and you couldn't quite get past him in the first one. So I think you might owe each other a beer.
Yeah, I reckon we'll have a couple later.
All right, congrats, Phil Worley. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. Fourth place overall and third place in the pro class at Watkins Glen. Congratulations, mate. See you later.
See ya.
And we go to the man who proved me right. Thank you very much, Ryan Jones. I said you were going to have a crack off that start and put as much room between yourself and the other guys at the front of the field on that reverse grid, and you did exactly what I thought. So well done, mate. Brilliant drive.
Yeah, I think I was sitting in the fuel cell of for Joshy's car in the turn one. I gave him a big old whack. I think quite lucky we didn't get taken out there, but
yeah, on the start there, it almost looked as though he was holding you up. I think he missed that, fluffed that start a little bit, and I think Phil Bissett got a much better start than he did, and you happened to be behind Josh. So
yeah, I thought being on the outside, he'd brake a little bit later, try to go around the outside of Phil at turn one, but no, he was playing it safe, and I was just trying to make up ground. It's good to get a win. I noticed on the Sim Racer Hub that doesn't give you a win in the stats for your heat races. There's on 2 of those this season, so good to get a feature. It'll actually count. But I actually wanted to come from the back of the field, so a bit of a shame.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame. That first race, what actually happened there? Did you finish that at all?
No, well, I felt like I had the pace to go with the 3 DPR boys at the front. I was sitting in behind Bottrell, who was fourth. Went for the move on him into the carousel, and he just chopped me in.
Yeah, I was going to say, you looped it there. You were pretty much right until you reversed it into the tyre wall.
That was fine. I got going again, and then I was sitting behind James Lawrence, working my way back towards the top 10, and he had a almighty tank slapper in front of me, which took me out again. That was terminal. So.
Yeah, I just don't recall that. That's all. I probably saw it, but we probably had it on the broadcast. But I just couldn't remember where you finished and if you did. But I'm thinking because you started the second row that maybe you hadn't finished. So that's obviously what happened. Mate, I'll ask the same question that I asked Mr. Worley. You've had a couple of weeks with the Corvette now. How are you finding it?
Yeah, I don't mind it. It's I don't know. It's hard to sort of every GT3 has its advantages, disadvantages at certain tracks. I felt like the Corvette was mega for half a lap here, but the longer corners it seems to really have a lot of understeer that some of the other cars don't really have. So yeah, I don't mind it. I can really use the brakes to get it turned, which is what I like. So yeah,
I imagine it's probably got the same characteristics as the Mustang, where on the fastest parts of the track, the thing is just an absolute rocket ship.
Well, the Mustang comes off the ABS really aggressively. So if you're carrying a lot of braking into the corner like I do, it has a massive tendency to loop. So yeah, not a huge fan of that car.
Right. Look, congratulations, mate. You drove a wonderful race. You did exactly what you needed to do, and that was get out front early and put a gap there, knowing that two of your teammates were going to be trying to chase you down from the back of the field. And our second place getter, James Glathpool, who unfortunately was not able to be here for the interview. Yeah, he was certainly going to try and run you down after finishing third in that first race behind two of your teammates. So knowing that they were coming from the back of the field, a big lead was something you really needed, and you did exactly what you had to for that. So you moved up 3 positions because you started on the second row, finished first in Pro, first overall, and pretty much led every lap of the race, I believe. You took the lead on lap 1, and that was the end of it. So did the disappearance trick at the front of the field.
Yeah, pretty good. Jimmy Glassfall came up 19 spots on the first lap, which was incredible.
Yeah.
But it's just you lose so much time in one lap to the leader that it's really hard unless they make a mistake. So I was doing my best to throw it off the road and into the fence, but managed to hold on.
Yeah, your two teammates did pretty well there, though. I mean, obviously Phil Worley, who I just spoke to, and Andrew Dyson, who finished 5th overall, coming from very last on the grid. So that was a hell of a drive from him once again to make his way through that field. So he was definitely on a run. If that race had a lot longer to go, might have actually seen a DPR 1, 2, 3 there.
Oh, if James Lawrence wasn't in the mix, we would have been top 6 lockout. Damien
Right.
McVeigh came home in 6th for us there. Top 5 lockout. So
Great drive from the amateur driver there to finish on the podium. Brilliant stuff. But look, congratulations, Ryan. After a forgettable first race, you've absolutely dominated in the second race, and you'll feel a lot better about it, and you'll sleep well tonight when you calm down a little bit. So congratulations. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Just big shout out to you boys. Put it on the broadcast. Go back and give that a watch as always, and putting the league together as well, Mark. You've done a pretty good job. Well, you've done a great job. It's awesome to have a big field of drivers to go racing against in the GT3s, and hopefully we get a few of them into the Saturday night races as well. That'll be good fun. Just obviously our sponsors at DPR, MP Designs, Sapper Lifters at Hoist, and Ben Max Mechanical, and all the DPR boys jumping in tonight, and Jimmy, Daiso, Damo, Wally, and I'm just forgetting Stephen Williams. There we go.
Yeah, Stephen Williams was your other teammate. He actually was in the top 10 there for a while, but he had a fair old battle on his hands with our 4 or 5 other guys. There was a decent battle pack going with that. And he just wasn't able to maintain that top 10 spot. So, but all right, look, congratulations, Ryan. First overall, first in Pro, starting from the second row, came up a couple of spots. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks in round 7 of the championship. Well done.
Cheers, boys.
No worries. Thanks very much, Ryan. And special thanks to Mark Johansson, our league owner, designer, the producer tonight, Kobe Jordan on the buttons, and myself, Steve Hoppett, in the commentary box. And hopefully I haven't bored you too much, and you didn't mind too much when I started referring to myself in the third person because I was lonely. And if you're interested in becoming a sponsor, a tailored package can be arranged to suit you. And the email address is on the screen there, Aussie Outlaws at... I missed what it was, but you saw it was on the screen. Wind it back. Aussie Outlaws GT3 Racing League ID 8718. And if you want to join the league, that's what you got to do. Just search for 8718. And a great night. And thanks to the organisers, thanks to the sponsors, and thanks to the drivers, and thanks to you for watching and the people in the live YouTube chat. Our next race is at Circuit of the Americas in 2 weeks' time. And don't forget that Saturday night this week, the Aussie Outlaws Next Gen NASCAR Cup takes place, and that's going to be an absolute ripper. So until next fortnight, when I'm returned to the commentary box for the GT3 series, thanks on behalf of Kobe Jordan, Mark Johansson, and myself, and I'll catch you later.
If you love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like Simrigs and Track Racer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, Everything Simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us, and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family, and let's race towards the future.
There might be some rain coming through. We expect rain soon. Rain is close. The session has been declared wet. No sign of this rain stopping. Rain is clearing up. Rain should be gone for now. Nothing but sunshine all day.